What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the video. Habs Bruins, old-time hockey, Saturday night, hockey night in Canada. Here we go. The Canadiens are 1-2-2 in their last 5, while the Bruins are 4-1 in their last 5. And it's interesting because after yesterday and the announcement of Alex Newhook's injury and Caden Gooley's injury, I was pretty upset. And I'm just thinking, like, a part of you is just thinking, like, man, this season just took a huge downhill turn. And you look at the lineup tonight, you're like, all right, we got a game, and I think these guys can still play. So let's have at her here, right? Let's have at her. So because the lineup for the Canadiens has changed so drastically, we're going to go through it today. We'll go through the Bruins lineup also, and we'll just talk first. Let's start off with who's leading the teams respectively in points, assists, goals, all that good fun stuff. So we got Cole Caulfield, 12 goals, leading the Canadiens. We have Nick Suzuki leading the Canadiens in assists with 16 points. Nick Suzuki's leading them with 20, plus minus Nick Suzuki leads the Canadiens with 10, and game-winning goals, Cole Caulfield with 3. So what does that tell you if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan? And that is, we rely far too much on our top line, right? So we need to get more production out of the other lines. Let's get these boys rolling here. Because for the Bruins, you got Morgan Geekie leading them with 12 goals. Charlie McAvoy with 14 assists. What a start he's having, Charlie McAvoy. David Pastrnak with 24 points. An amazing start for Pasta. Mark Kastelik with a plus-minus of +4. And David Pastrnak with 2 game-winning goals. So a little bit more spreading of the production here in terms of the Boston Bruins side of things. Sam Montembeault will get the start in net tonight for the Montreal Canadiens. I was wrong on this one. I thought for sure they were going to go back to Dobesh, but they're going back to Monty, who historically has played well on Saturday nights for the Habs, at least in the last couple years. Jeremy Swayman will get the nod for the Boston Bruins on the other side of the ice. All right, so changes to the lineup for the Canadiens. Well, 3 out of the 4 lines are going to have some changes. The top line, of course, will remain intact as it usually always does. And Kirby Dach will center a line with Oliver Kapanen on the wing and Ivan Demidov on the other wing. So this is interesting, seeing Oliver Kapanen shift over to the wing. Obviously, you got to make some changes with Alex Newhook off of that line. So let's see how Kirby plays with Demidov and Kapanen. Kapanen and Demidov are fast skaters. Dach is more of a calculated sort of cerebral skater, I feel like, but he can make plays. Kirby Dach can make plays, so let's see how these 3 do together. Jake Evans will have Zach Bolduc on his left-hand side and Josh Anderson on his right-hand side. To be honest with you, at the outset, looking at this line, it looks like it could be a solid checking energy, yet potential for offense on this line, because Jake Evans is better offensively than we give him credit for if you put him with wingers who can score. Josh Anderson will be all on the forecheck. That's what he does, playing his physical game. Zach Bolduc can play a physical forechecking game also, and he can score. Let's see these guys do some stuff together, shall we? Let's do that. Jared Davidson making his NHL debut tonight on the 4th line on the left wing with Joe Veleno at center and Brendan Gallagher on the right wing. I have to say, I really like this choice from Marty St. Louis, having Brendan Gallagher, a solid NHL veteran, leading the way for Jared Davidson. You know he's going to be talking to him all game. And then you got Joe Veleno at center, who hopefully they can get Joe Veleno going. Nothing would make Habs fans happier than to see some positive production out of the 4th line with Joe Veleno on it, with Brendan Gallagher there to help along. And then Jared Davidson, who can also bring a heavy forechecking game for the Canadiens. We're going to see what he can do tonight. Very excited for him to make his debut. This always gives some positive juice to the guys in the lineup, in the locker room. It's always a positive when a guy's making his NHL debut. You know they want to play well for him. What I found interesting also was that Joe Veleno is going to actually replace Alex Newhook on the penalty kill on the 2nd unit. And actually, Jared Davidson, according to Daily Faceoff here, is appearing on the 2nd power play unit for the Montreal Canadiens. So let's see what happens there. He's going to play with Bolduc, Kirby Dach, Noah Dobson, and Brendan Gallagher. There you have it for the power play lines there. The defense pairs will remain the same for the Montreal Canadiens: Matheson, Dobson, Jaden Struble, Lane Hudson, and Arbor Jackeye, and Alex Carrier. So let's go really quickly over to the Boston Bruins and their lineup here. Morgan Geekie, as I mentioned, leading the Bruins with 12 goals. He's on the top line with Marhat Kushnatid. No, I can't pronounce that name. I'm just not going to do it. But number 92 for the Boston Bruins. Let's see. Tinadov, something like that. Anyway, David Pastrnak on the right on this top line. Pavel Zacha centering the second line with Alexander Steeves on the left. Victor Arvidsson on the right. Fraser Minton centering the third line for the Bruins. Tanner Janot and Mark Kastelik on the third line. And on the fourth, Sean Corelli at center. Jeffrey Veal and Michael Isamont on the right wing. On your top pair on defense for the Bruins, a very good one, Nikita Zadorov, Charlie McAvoy on your top pair, Hampus Lindholm, Andrew Peeke on the second pair, and on the third pair, Mason Lurie and Jonathan Aspirant on the third pair, who made his NHL debut with the Bruins just the other night. So there you have it for your lineups for these Bruins and Canadiens. Old-time hockey tonight, baby. Let's see how these Canadiens respond after a very tough loss, losing Alex Newhook for 4 months, Caden Gooley out for another 8 to 10 weeks. These guys need a big game. They need to respond. They need to calm the waters and show the Canadiens and their fans that they can keep it together here, facing the biggest adversity that they're going to face this season, starting now. And it's at a time when they're battling the Boston Bruins for first in the Atlantic Division. So if you look at the standings specifically right now, the Bruins and Canadiens are tied with 22 points apiece. And Montreal remains currently atop the Atlantic, tied with the Ottawa Senators and Boston Bruins. And if the Detroit Red Wings beat the Buffalo Sabres tonight, which is very likely, they will be tied also. And we'll see how Ottawa does. I mean, Montreal could be bumped down pretty quickly if they can't get a couple of points here. So as far as the overall Eastern Conference standings are concerned, there is now a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 team tie in the Eastern Conference. Carolina, Montreal, Pittsburgh, the Islanders, the Ottawa Senators, and the Boston Bruins. My gosh, has Matthew Schaefer ever made the Islanders relevant again? Tell me I'm full of it here. I'm not. Okay, that's all I got for you guys. Quick pregame hit. Habs, Bruins, see you postgame. Hit like and subscribe. God bless you. God love you. Let's do this, boys. Let's show some heart tonight. We need to see some heart from these boys. Let's go. Talk to you soon.